Today is going to be a weird video, because is that correct? Is today gonna be a video, or is the video of today gonna be a video? Yeah, I'm stupid, never mind. Today's video is gonna be weird, because what I wanted to do was talk about a guy who has been good. And I'm gonna say that he's been good, believing in my assessment of him being good. And the reason I'm being so awkward with the way we're introducing this topic is because, according to some Detroit Red Wings fans, this good might not actually be all too good, and may have even hurt his own contract value. Today we're heading over to the big, mean German machine, Moritz Seider himself. Because when it comes to this season's worth of play with the Detroit Red Wings in 23-24, he has had a season that is pretty noteworthy for a variety of reasons. The 6'4", 205 right-handed defenseman is on the last year of his ELC. He needs a contract extension. By the time this video is uploaded and public on YouTube, who knows if he has that contract extension. If he doesn't have it, then okay, that's cool, we'll wait till that gets signed. If he does have it, then we'll make another video going over just the contract itself. It's happened before, where we have made videos about guys and pre-schedule uploaded them before they actually did something significant, like get traded or get signed or whatever, but for Moritz Seider, he went out there and had himself a pretty alright season, point production-wise. He had 42 points in 82 games played, the exact same number that he had last year, except with more goals and fewer assists. Now, the first year that he played was actually the best of them all, scoring 50 points in 82 games played. But for Mo Seider this year, he has been an absolute tank. And part of the reason he has been a tank is because of his on-ice deployment. Take a look at this tweet made by Ice Hockey GIFs. Moritz Seider has completed his entry-level contract. Within it, he had 246 games played, so no games missed. He had 134 points, which is 22nd most amongst NHL D-men. He is literally a top 30 defenseman in the NHL. 5,631 minutes played, which was 10th most in the NHL, 563 blocked shots, second most in the NHL, and 569 hits, the 24th most in the NHL. He has been a warrior since his first NHL game. And I am totally not going to disagree with that. Mo Seider, ladies and gentlemen, has been very, very strong. But part of the reason there is maybe some concern, quote-unquote, and I'm going to toss that word out there now, concern, is because of the way Seider had played this year. Now, we just went over some of the numbers. Seider was an absolute beast in terms of his deployment, in terms of his matchups, in terms of where he was put on the ice. There was a tweet made here by TJ Arho, which goes out there and talks about the defensemen with the strongest offensive opponents this year based off the quality of their opponents, and this is calculated by offensive rating per 82 games played. You can see that from this athletic image, Moritz Seider had the most difficult matchups the entire season compared to everybody else. Seider and Wallman were 1 and 2. Chernak by himself was number 3. Mike Matheson and Caden Gooley were number 4 and 5, followed up by a whole bunch of other names and a few extra pairings that you can see here too. But Mo Seider literally had the most difficult season in terms of whom he played against every single minute. He had an average score of 3.1 offensive rating per 82 games of players he was playing against. Now let's go back over to the guy that posted this image, TJR Ho. The reason we're talking about this tweet, and I'm not showing you it yet, is because this TJR Ho tweet is actually a response to another tweet that made the rounds on social media about a week ago. It garnered 80,000 views, and I wanted to talk about it here. Because when it comes to Mo Seider and his development, this is the quote-unquote concern that you could go out there and talk about. Let's let the tweet say it all. In Moritz Seider's rookie season, there was probably no more than 3 goals where I thought he was at fault. In these past 2 seasons, there's been like 50. And I just want to leave this up on the screen for a little bit, let that sink in before you really respond to it. Okay, Mo Seider, giveaways. Goals where things were his fault, either because he made a bad read, or he made a bad pass, or he put himself in the wrong spot. Goals that were his fault. Maybe 3 in his first season, 50 in the last 2 seasons. Interesting. The first reply to this tweet goes out there and says, yeah, he's been a turnover machine this year. Although, they are kind of careless turnovers that can be fixed. Another reply says, also, what happened to Moritz Seider's checking? He used to reverse hit guys all the time in Season 1. Haven't seen many since. And This is where we see the TJR Ho tweet that we were looking at earlier. It might have something to do with more minutes against tougher competition. He definitely needs to clean things up, but he's only 23 years old and asked to play some of the toughest minutes in the NHL. And then there are a bunch of extra replies saying this is the worst take I've ever seen. Remember when you were upset that the Wings traded Vrana? This is another one of those takes. But there are a bunch of replies that are a little more neutral. Not, oh, you're an idiot for saying this about Seider. Not, oh, he's been a turnover machine. Finally, someone I can agree with about Seider. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but he sold this team out of a playoff position on his own. Oh boy, that's yeah, we'll skip over the replies to that one because that one's, quite opinionated. Another reply from Daddy Larks asks, I don't understand. Is it because we think he should be more responsible, or did the new coaching staff ruin him? I also think he made much better decisions with the puck in his rookie year than I've seen last 2 years on both sides of the puck. It's kind of baffling. And then there are replies that are saying, hey, it's the matchups, it's Lalonde's system, it's this, it's that. There are multiple things you could debate are at play here. And then there are other replies saying, yeah, no, this season I kind of agree. Maybe Seider didn't really have the best year in terms of his on-ice performance when you compare it to how he would create plays or break things out or read plays defensively in his own zone. Some people are even saying that maybe Seider's contract value has been reduced because of this season. And with these ideas in mind, I wanted to toss the question out to you here. What did you think of Moritz Seider's 23-24? Because it's no secret that in order to have the most difficult minutes in the NHL, to have the most difficult opponents every average minute that you're playing in the NHL compared to literally everybody else in the league, you kind of have to have some talent. But when it comes to that talent, is that the reason why some opinions like these do exist? I don't doubt that some of these tweets that were posted are kind of, farming for clicks a little bit. I understand a social media game. I create videos and farm clicks for a living. This is how I earn money. So I get it. There's some sort of an idea tossed out there and people are going to get pissed off about it. Oh, you posted anyway, and that's the dealio. But I don't seem to think that this is all fabricated. I do feel like there is a good chunk, a solid chunk of the fan base that feels this way. That, hey, Mo Seider might not have actually been that great this season. Of course, it takes a good player to play those minutes, but at what point do you say, hey, he kind of had a rough year? Maybe not the best, most upward trending progression state year that you could have, but there are some good things that you can look at when you think about it like this, because still, even if Seider might have had more giveaways, maybe more defensive lapses, maybe he has not as strong of a defensive presence this season compared to before, his offense was still the same. He literally had the same amount of points as last season, albeit fewer points than his rookie year. If the Red Wings are improving their power play, if they're improving their scoring personnel up front, this could result in more offensive production from Seider. And I know that doesn't address the defensive issue, that doesn't make it easier for you to accept, oh yeah, he's giving pucks up or whatever, if you are of that belief that it's a problem. But it does become a lot easier to like a player more if he produces more points. That's a stupid argument, but it is one nonetheless that I think is worth bringing up. And also, there is Simone Edinson, who exists on this team now and who will be a part of the future. If you talk about the guy who was given all the tough minutes in Mo Seider and the second-place guy in Jake Wallman, once Simone Edinson is on this team, and he pans out to what he could be, and I'm saying could, he probably should pan out, but we'll see what happens with Edinson and his development, this guy should, in theory, be able to come here and take some of that load. Get your mind out of the gutter, folks. I see that smirk on your face. But if Seider is no longer forced to play against the most difficult players in the NHL because Simone Edinson and Wallman are both matching up against some of these top guys, then would it not make Seider's job a little bit easier, and therefore make it a little bit easier for him to get better results? Who knows? You can say that in Seider's rookie year, there wasn't really a need to put him and throw him to the Wolves right away. They did at some parts of the season, but then again, he was still a rookie. He was still brand new in the NHL. There was still questions as to how he would translate this and that. So you could make the debate and the argument that, hey, he's given tougher minutes this year, which is why he could have played a little bit worse. That's just the toll when you're a guy who's projected to being a top caliber guy. Not even saying he's like an elite or a franchise-defining guy, but just somebody who can play 25 minutes a night against the best opposition players from every team. That's Mo Seider. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If his play this year was concerning to you, if these comments on social media make a point, and whether or not you feel Seider is due to be getting better. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99, and bye.